Hello, I'm CJ Miller. I'm in Shreveport, Louisiana. Across the Red River is beautiful Bossier City, Louisiana. I'm here in the kitchen. I'm being an impetuous chef. Okay, I'm going to be in and out of the apartment for the next few days, up to a week, just back and forth. So this is something that I've just had a yen for, just a craving, so I'm going to go ahead and make it. So I've had these chicken legs, drumsticks, and I've had them marinating in milk overnight. So I've taken them out, and into this pot, I started with the roux, a white roux or a light roux for a Bacamel sauce, which is one of the French mother sauces, which is going to be a cream milk based sauce. Started with the roux, and to which I added the milk, and then to that milk, I added copious amounts. Eyeball it. Do it for seasoning, for your taste. I like a lot of seasoning. Uh, a good Italian seasoning blend, and then I boosted the oregano and I boosted the tarragon. So there's double shots of tarragon and oregano, and then a regular seasoning of the Italian seasoning, stirred in to the milk, and then of course I stirred in some cumin, and then of course I stirred in probably about 3 tablespoons, and then I stirred in the curry. Now the roux that I started with, basically equal portions, about 3 tablespoons of self-rising flour and about 3 tablespoons of unsalted butter. And while it was still blonde, while it was still very light, that's when I put the milk in, because I wanted a creamy kind of thing. A lot of curry will call for yogurts and things like that, or heavy creams or whole. Whole milk works fine for something like this. Okay, and then so I'll have some of this, but I don't want to eat entirely that for the next couple of days. So let me show you what I really have over here that I'm excited about. Okay, so some time ago, about a month or so ago, I had some porterhouses, and I made one of the porterhouses, and I made it with a lovely marinade, and then the other one was also in the marinade. But what I didn't do, I didn't cook it at the time. I took it out of that marinade, sealed it in a airtight, bag, and put it in the freezer until I was ready for it, and then I brought it out today. So that I could cut it off of the bone completely. And so I've got all 3 parts. I've got the fillet, I've got the strip, and I got a little bit of the sirloin, that comes off of it, or whatever, yeah. And basically, I just had this cut down. And these are not prime cuts. Even in the grocery store, you do not get a prime cut. They may tell you, but you don't. They reserve that for 4 and 5 star restaurants, and even then, it's a little bit questionable. But this is a good cut. This is a good cut of beef. I'm happy for it. But so I'm going to give this a light tossing about. I'm doing this on very low heat, tossing it around, and then, of course, I'm going to put some curry seasoning to this. I'm just going to use a nice powder curry, and the reason why I'm going to do it this way is because it's rendered the fluids off, and it's already well seasoned from the marinade that it's been marinating in for in the freezer for a while. So just a little bit of shakedown here. Oh, that. What is that? Maybe, what are we going to eyeball? Maybe a good tablespoon, a good heaping tablespoon. Let me get this stirred in. I'll be right back. Here we are, and let me tell you, that smells wonderful. Now, I am making some rice just to put over this, but I'm going to make the rice separate, just the white rice variety. And here's what we're going to do. Very simple. No, nothing added to the rice at all. Okay, so I've measured. We're going to say I needed to add about half a glass. So there we go. If it's a little more, it's not that big of a deal. And then what we do is we take this and we turn it up as far as we want to go. For me, that's the 6 o'clock position on my dial. We're going to bring this up to a boil. We're going to give this a light stir with a utensil that is not being used. We don't want to cross-contaminate. I'm going to take a spoon, fresh spoon, and give just a gentle stir. And the reason why is we want the water to get underneath and throughout the individual grains of rice. The only thing there is to do here is to let this sit until it comes up to a rolling boil. Then we cover with the lid, reduce it to a simmer, let it go from there. 15 minutes should do it. You can, if you want your rice a little done, go up to 20 minutes. But we're going to bring this to the boil, and then we're going to do as I say. Now, if you want, if this is too much starch for you, you can go ahead and do your first drain right now, and then go ahead and put more water back in. I'm not going to worry about that because this is a smaller amount of rice, and it's going to be just fine. Some people rinse their rice before they cook it, or by doing it this, and it's kind of like pouring off, and then they put more, whatever. I don't think it's going to matter one way or another. Now, if you want to, and I think I'm going to put just a touch. This is going to be a little tip that I'm going to show you right now, and I almost forgot. I can't believe it. I need to talk, especially after I made that jambalaya, and I forgot to add this little bit. This is a secret little bit that will help make sure that your rice maintains a slight firmness, even though it cooks, so that it will help it not get mushy. Nobody really wants a sticky rice is okay, but you don't want a mushy rice. Maybe what we're going to do is just this lid, just the very bottom lid of this balsamic vinegar. Now you can use white vinegar or that. That's all you want. That's all. We're going to take our spoon, same spoon that we just stirred this with. That is not going to affect the color of the rice. It's not really even going to affect the flavor of the rice at all. And then what we're going to do is proceed to bring this up to a boil. Then we're going to cover it for 15 minutes. See how we are, judge to see if we need to let it go for another couple of minutes or something like that. For this smaller amount of rice, I think bringing it to a boil and then covering it and then doing that simmer is going to be, suffice 15 minutes. I don't think we'll have to really go over. Plus, we're really going to turn it off at that point, and it will continue to be in the pot. I'll remove it from the heat, but there, immediately from the heat, but there will still be heat inside of the pot that's going to help continue to, cook that rice. So we'll continue to tender up. Okay, I will see you guys in a little bit after the click here. Okay, so that timer is going off. It's time for me to give a stir to that chicken. But first, I want to let you know what I did. I did go ahead and put half a capful of I have a small bottle, a kitchen bouquet, and I put half a capful in here and into this, to give it, it's going to give an enriching color to the appearance, but also really what it's going to do is give an essence of flavors, all the aromatics, the cabbage, onion, garlic, carrots, all those good things listed on that bottle. There was a stock made of it, and then that stock was reduced to a concentrate so that we can put just a couple of drops into a skillet like this or a pot like this and really get those enriching flavors. You can use it as a browning sauce. or you can use it as a flavor enhancer. So you could brush it on meat that's going to go on the grill, or you can use it in a saute like this. And that's really what this is. This is not really a stew. This is a saute. Okay, let me give this a mix around, and we'll be back with you after another click. So here we can see we've got really good, I got some of these to the top so you can see. Just to show you, I have removed some of the curry sauce that once this reduces down about halfway through its doneness, I'm going to reintroduce it back to the pot, probably maybe about 20-30 minutes before it's done. I'll add it back to the pot, but we're slow. This actually is closer to a stewing that we're doing, but it's getting the stovetop treatment, but I'm treating it as if this were a slow cooker. Low heat going on for a few hours, really is what we're doing. Once I get this fluid reduced a little bit, then I'm gonna, and the reason why I removed it is because I wanted some room to stir this chicken around. But you can see this is getting a good curry, creamy curry, wonderful flavor going on with it, and that's cool. That's what we want, okay? So I probably won't need to come back. I was starting to get tiny bubbles on top of the rice, but it's not quite to that rolling boil. We don't want to touch that rice until it gets to a boil. I will see you in a few minutes, but for you it'll be just a moment after the click. Here we are, and we are just on the verge of getting that rolling boil. Honestly, I don't feel like you need to wait. I feel like at this point, you know, some of the starches are starting to break away and collect on the top. We'll give just enough, just a gentle moving of this rice so that we know that it's not going to stick to the bottom. And then take our lid, put it on, and then we want to make sure to remember to turn down. We want this just a little bit less of a simmer than what we have going on. Adding the lid will ensure that the heat stays inside, so we can reduce. Maybe go to the just above your low medium setting, right around there is going to be optimal for this kind of thing. 15 minutes, this rice will be done. The beef is already done. The chicken, that's going to take a while. No, the chicken's going to take a while, and that's because there are probably about 10 drumsticks in that pot. What I will do, let me show you. Okay, so I'm just going to watch it, and then of course as it reduces, as the content reduces, the moisture, when it gets a little thicker, each time I can come in and give a light moving around of the chicken that's in the sauce, and then the chicken that comes to the top, I'll put a little ladle of the curry that I've removed onto the top of it, just to make sure I don't lose any of those yummy, delicious flavors. And by the time, and that's the reason why I'm doing it this way is because honestly, I had too much sauce. I was initially going to do 7, but I added, there's actually more in here because I actually added 5 chicken legs. So I was initially going to do 7, and then I added about 5. So there's about 12 chicken drumsticks in here. So, but what happens, we get this light simmering going on. As it reduces, I can gradually add in more of the sauce, so I won't lose any of it. And that is part of being an impetuous chef, a good home cook. being able to make adjustments to catch little oversights. And this was, in a way, an oversight in the term of that I overfilled the pot. But little tiny little mistakes like that, and I know that I don't want it to boil over, so I removed some of the juice. And the reason why I did that is because I want to be able to have room when it's time to stir this around. About every 20-30 minutes, I want to come over and move these bits of chicken around in this sauce. And in order to do that, I needed a little bit of room, and that's why I removed. But it's not that much that I had to remove, you know. And what's going to be awesome is when I move these around and then I go to put this over on top of it, it's going to be really easy to get that good flavorful coating on top of the chicken. This is not too different than a fricassee. You've heard me talk about a chicken fricassee before, which is coq au vin. You would add, you would go with the darker sauce, and you would add maybe a little, you know, a kind of maybe a dry red wine or something to the sauce that you're cooking, and that's a coq au vin. And then a fricassee is very similar. I would not have added the curry. I would have omitted the curry, and what I would have done was I would have put in lots of, you know, carrots and onion and, you know, celery, that type of stuff. I would have added a mirepoix, basically. French vegetables that, you know, a French name for vegetables, French name for aromatics. There's a trinity that we use in Louisiana that we call celery, onion, bell pepper. And what I would do is I would omit the bell pepper, and then I would add in celery and lots of garlic, of course, and that would be closer to what we would call a mirepoix. They're very similar, and sometimes those terms are used interchangeably. But that would be the fricassee. But I'm not doing a fricassee. I'm doing a curry, and in that case, you know, I did not add those vegetables. What I did do was go heavy on the Italian herbs, which I told you about, and used cumin, and I used a large amount of the curry powder to go into this cream sauce, you know. And what is curry? Well, now we're going to talk about that. Curry is found in many types of... I got a rubber band up here. And my soda. Curry is found in many types of cuisine. Mostly, I would say, associated with some Asian and really specifically to certain Indian cuisines. Turmeric. I love to use turmeric, dried cayenne pepper, and then natural flavor. They don't tell us what the natural flavor is. But yeah, so you, if you kind of look up and find your own little recipes and making them at home, you can look up any of the recipes. You can kind of reckon what the spices are that's in here. But we want to look at turmeric, and we want to look at dried cayenne pepper. And I bet you there's a heck of a lot of paprika in here also for color. I'd be surprised if there wasn't cumin in here. Maybe a little bit of ginger or not. I don't know. Wouldn't hurt. But it's very flavorful. And you really wouldn't overdo that. You really wouldn't want to overdo that. You could maybe an essence of ginger, maybe an essence of cloves, any of those little things, but not too much, you know. But yeah, and these are all just the things that I'm naming off are different things that I've seen in various curry blends. This is a pretty decent one. Got it from the Sam's Club, salt-free curry powder. I like the salt-free part of it. Let's see. Mm, not a significant amount of trans fat, cholesterol, dietary fiber, total sugars, added sugars, vitamin D, whatever. So it's not a significant amount. Lets me know that there's a touch in here. But yeah, um, it's very versatile and I love it. And basically, what it has done is a similar recipe to a fricassee, but instead, it's a curry. You know, fricassee may or may not use a bacamel, a milk gravy. It may use a light roux gravy with the chicken bouillon or something like that. I did. Did I put a little chicken? I think I put a touch of chicken bouillon in the pot also, just a touch. You know, but I've tasted it. It's not salty at all. If you over bouillon, either with beef or chicken or whatever, vegetable bouillon or whatever, if you overuse it, you get a little overzealous with it, you will find that your food has come out a little bit too salty. You can still work with it, but it may be saltier than what you had intended. Now let's go back over and look at the pots. Here we got this going on. This is really good. We like that. We like that. Let me show you something that's happening with the rice. Remember, we turned this rice way down. We're still getting too much of a rise out of it. So I'm going to turn that down a little bit more. And I'm going to check on it. Honestly, no, I'm not. I'm just going to seriously turn it down. And I'm going to turn it down in between the low and the low medium position. So like, we go counterclockwise. But if I were maybe the third dot on my dial, that's where I'm going. And we're seeing that bubbling and stuff like that, it's resolving on its own. I think I got to it in time. I started yapping. You really just want to watch your kitchen. If you've got these many things going on, this many pots on the burners, just keep an eye and don't run off and leave your kitchen. Okay, let me pause this so I can spend a little bit more time with my food, and I will be back with you after the click. Let me show you, for the most part, this rice is done. I tested it for texture. It's lovely. There's just a slight moisture left in the pot. Now you either can drain this using the lid, pouring off a little extra fluid, or not. You really could just take this and set it to the side. Take your lid, maybe leave it kind of half on, half off, or whatever, and let some of the steam just kind of evaporate this water for you. One light fluffing with your utensil. Don't overstir this rice, but I'm going to show you. It's got a good texture. Put that over there. My rice spoon. See? Once this, this is, the rice. You can rinse it if you want to. I'm not going to worry about it because I know that momentarily, once some of this moisture just kind of pulls away and evaporates out of this pot, this is going to be a very delicious rice. The grains are going to be pretty much separated. It's not going to be an overly sticky rice. Wouldn't matter anyway because what I'm putting over on top of it, either some of the beef or some of the chicken, it's going to be in a sauce, so it's going to break that down. You even can take this boiler and bring it under the faucet and pour a little water in it and then drain it, by rinsing off some of that excess starch. Maybe I'll try that real quick. Hang on. Well, there we go. That's wonderful. And the technique I used was to put a little extra water in it, use the lid to brace it, and then that thing where you tilt the water out using, to hold the contents of the solids inside the pot while you drain it. I strained it with the lid. Wonderful. Some lids will come with a sliding strainer or built-in colander or something like that if you want it. But I decided to go ahead and do that. It would have, the moisture that was here would have evaporated out of the pot anyway. It really would have, but the fact of the matter is, I got to reduce or wash off a little of the starch. Look how separate this rice is, and the more you fluff it, better. Okay, let me get in here and taste it for texture. Perfect texture. Absolutely no flavor in this rice whatsoever. That's gonna come from the topping that I put over it. But this is a perfect white rice. Very perfect. And just that slight consistency of texture, because I added that little bit of balsamic vinegar. You can use white vinegar if you want, just a little bit, maybe 1/8 of a teaspoon, no more than that for this size. And I'm just going to even just kind of let this sit to the side like that. Okay. We'll come over here and give our chicken another stir. And that chicken's doing really well. But I'm going to move it around, give it kind of a stir, and then add a little bit more of the broth. One of the qualities I think one must have to really say you're impetuous is to kind of, understand the nature of spontaneity. But a word to the wise: be willing to learn and adjust when mistakes are made. This is not necessarily a mistake per se. It's just that there is a lot of chicken in this pot, and I want to get them resituated. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use my tongs. I have tongs here, and I'm going to use them to remove the chicken from the pot so that I can thoroughly reposition them so that the chicken on the bottom doesn't get all the Maillard effect, all the browning, the caramelization, and what's sitting on top doesn't neglect from that. I kind of want to share the wealth in that effect. Okay, so I'm going to be with you after the click, and I'll kind of give you a little sense of what I'm talking about. So here I have removed all of the chicken from the pot with the very freshly cleaned utensil. I'm going to give this a good stir. I'm going to reintroduce the broth that I've removed. And once I know this is really formed, I'm going to give it some heat, and I'm going to actually reduce it so that I can cook this down and thicken it up, and then put those chicken legs back into the pot, because the chicken itself is about done, but I don't want it to cook it so much that it starts to falling off the bone. Right now they're at the lollipop stage. There's a big pile of them. Let me show them to you. See, this chicken is done. This chicken is done and delicious and tender. But I want to work with this sauce a little more. I want a little bit more consistency with it. And so that's going to come with me reducing it down and working with it. Once I get it to the consistency that I want, then I can put the chicken back in. Okay, so honestly, everything looks well. Everything looks good. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to, now that I've reduced this sauce, I'm actually going to pour it over this pan. I think I'm going to do that just for the sake of presentation. I like it a little bit better. It's going to, cover up when I'm ready to cover up with some foil and put it in the fridge and everything. It's going to work a little bit better with that. But oh my God, I just tasted the sauce. It's very freaking delicious. You could literally serve it without the sauce here if you wanted to over some rice, but I want the sauce. Okay, so here we are, and this is resting. Anytime you do some meat like this, you want to let it rest. I'm going to take the time to put a couple of things in the dishwasher and get it ready to go. And yeah. And then, of course, I'll have a little bit of the chicken, and I'm also going to have a little bit of the beef on top of the rice. Now, what I want you to do is I don't want you to get too concerned if you're like me and you made a little bit too much of the curry gravy for your chicken. Once I take 1 or 2 pieces of this chicken out, there's going to be enough room that I can go ahead and put the rest of the sauce in this pan, and it's going to store beautifully. So no worry or concern about that at all. You know, I used to work for a family, the Sellers, in the early 1990s. And I was brought in to just basically kind of help manage the household. The son was my age now. Like, he was 52 when I got hired on. So, and I was 21. And I was brought in to help care for his mother, who lived in the front house. And of course, I took care of some of the front and the back houses. And in exchange, I got, well, pretty much anything that I needed, you know, and it helped further my personal education and everything. So that was kind of cool. But at one point, and I recommended, a friend of mine recommended a friend of his, Marion, and she was in from Freeport, Jamaica, but he'd known her for a while, and I trusted him and everything like that, so I recommended Marion. And boy, she just kind of came in and took over that house, and that's fine. But she would cook every day a curry dish, very similar to this, but there would also be lots of whole potatoes inside of this curry mixture. And of course, I'm using rice. Now, she would make the rice too, but she would put the potatoes in also. So you could do that. You could, want to say, you could put potatoes in this, carrots, anything like that, any kind of vegetable that you want or whatever. I just use what I have on hand, and also I'm keto most of the time. I just finished 2 Halloween parties within the same week. So I'm really I was keto for a while, and then I had that Halloween party, and it was like, wow. That first one where I made the jambalaya, that one, the cooking thing, by the way, I just mentioned that. Although I will say, I think I got, I think it was like the South Louisiana people. I think they kind of stacked the vote on me on that one. I think some of them were voting more than once. As a matter of fact, I you know, and I've even gone back and said, hey, I don't know if I really won fairly. I think I didn't have anything to do with that. But they were like, well, they're allowed to do that, whatever. So I just reached over and sampled one of the pieces of beef. It's going to be wonderful also. So 2 types of curry here, a brown beef curry and a chicken curry. Let me pause the video. Let me put a couple of things in the dishwasher. We'll get set up and we'll do a tasting. Don't go away. Right back after the click.